Hey, what's up, everyone? I hope you're having a fantastic trading day. Today, what we're going to do is have a market review as to what happened with price during the day of August 11, 2022. I'm going to be showing you the trades that I took, the trades that I missed in, and the trades that I lost in. Hopefully, this serves as its purpose to help you understand more about the ICT concepts. I myself am a student as well, so hopefully this serves as like a study session. Okay, so let's get into it. Where we were in price today, this morning, was that I'm looking at the daily chart, and I noticed this buy side liquidity here from this range, from this previous range that was left behind. I thought it was going to be an easy target for price to get involved in, especially because we were already creating these highs right here on 133.87. So I thought it'd be a good approach or a good theory to play for the market to create cost support these prices up here, these prices in the corner. In the meantime, I was looking over at my SMT, looking over the daily range. So something that also supported higher prices was the SMT that developed right here. So we have a high and a low on the SPY 500 index, and then we have another high and low here on US 30, but on the NAS we have a lower high. So what I tend to predict off this is that, because there's one indices that's printing higher prices, my bias is still bullish. What ended up happening was the following. In the 15-minute chart, I noticed something too. Right before the news dropped at 8:30, I was noticing the following, right? And the SPY was creating higher lows, the NAS was creating higher lows, but the US 30 was creating higher highs. So even before the news dropped at 8:30, I was already looking for something to go higher prices, right? We have already retraced back down to Asian lows. We have an easy target here, buy side liquidity. And although I would like to believe this play, my SMT was telling me otherwise. So I went into this fair value gap, which was, I guess you could say, the main fair value gap of this range. And what I did was I tried to look for costs to support higher prices. And that's something that ended up happening. The entry is kind of weird for me because it doesn't fit my criteria as to how is it that I would trade it, but I'm going to look after this after I'm done with all this video so that I can try to understand it more. But pretty much what ended up happening was that we reached this fair value gap. We created this range, right, low high, with a fair value gap here. And so now what got confusing was that we created this intermediate high, right, because we rebalanced this fair value gap. But then we had a breakthrough, break a structure here from that intermediate high. So that's where I got confused, because if we wanted to look for higher prices, I would have liked for this intermediate low, to be respected so that we can have support for that higher price. But that's not what ended up happening. So I'm going to have to look into this and review further. But it wasn't really till 8:30 when we saw that explosion further up. So I was already in a trade here for the demo. That's why you can see that 10 grand there profit. But I was really just taking partials along the way as well, because I had a projection that in this higher time frame range that we had here, we could see an extension of up to this level, the 134.97, which fortunately ended up happening, I believe. Yeah, it ended up happening. So that was good. And now, as we were creating this extension news, I noticed that around 8:45ish, we saw price create another range right here, top of this buy side liquidity. I thought this could be the cause to support lower prices, right? I would figure. So we had this range in the premium market. A premium side of this range, we have a fair value gap here that I found in the short-term perspective. Yeah, it was very short-term. Yeah, right here, you see this gap here on the 30-second chart. This gap right here was my fair value gap. And so I figured, well, if price is going to have to react in some way, I would like for it to happen in this area, right? So I looked into my SMT again and tried to see what could be my bias for that short-term trade. And what I noticed that once the news dropped, all the markets were pretty much in sync, right? They were creating lower high. They were all creating higher highs. All of them were. So I thought, well, let's keep looking for costs to support higher prices. I would like for price to target the buy side liquidity that we found up here. And because now we have this bullish structure, I'm under the impression that perhaps during the New York session, we're going to have an extension to the upside, right? But then once we got here, I noticed that we created a rebalance of these FEG, right? We have price action go up and go down. So now this high automatically becomes my intermediate high. So now what I'm looking for is, as for my entry, is a range to break through this intermediate high and give us a fair value gap on discount to take it for higher price. And that's what ended up happening. As you can see here, this is my entry for today. It's here. So once we touch this fair value gap, we created a range, right? With a fair value gap right here, right near the discounted premium of it. So I would still take it, right? I would set my entry to 50%, stop loss there, and then boom. That for a bit it was actually working, and then I was aiming to go up to these highs right here. Oh goodness. I was aiming for price to give us this 5RR play, but that's not what ended up happening. Instead, price had like a revert back down to these lows. And so I ended up taking 50% because we retraced back to this zero level. And then I set my trade to break even, and look at that. I got broke even. If I hadn't managed it in that way, then I would have pretty much gotten stopped out, which, we're trying to manage every trade to become some form of a win. Whether we hit price target or not, we still want to take some position off the market, because things like this, we never gonna know what really happens. We can't really time it. Now it looks like prices barely touched that buy side liquidity, and now it's creating lower prices. So that was pretty much all I got involved in with the markets today. I would have liked to have gotten more trades for it today, but now during London close, it looks like price is doing that reverse of everything. So we could see new lows being printed down here, somewhere around here. Maybe target is imbalanced, although that's probably too much considering that we're almost done for the day. But who knows? So maybe down here. The idea is that I would like to get it to go lower than the market open. All right. Well, that's for my trading for today. I hope you learned something in this video. Hope we're learning something together. Yeah. I'll see you in the next one. All right. Take care.